Ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of A. Thompson and Other Disappointments. Welcome back to your weekly foray into the forlorn, your dance into the dystopia, your breakdance into your breakdown. Quick what's up to the channel backers, to the Patreons. You make my heart sing, you lovable bastards. My loyable? Is that even? That's not a word. It is now. We've made up a new word. My loyable. Loyable sounds like it's, like they're in trouble, doesn't it? Maybe they will be in due course for emboldening me. My loyal disciples, my cult, my people of the Booge. What is up, peeps? Shall I go over to the live chat quickly? What's up to Diz? What's up to Sarah Davies? Mojo Sabian? Yuri's in the house. Billy Kershaw. Who else have we got? Insight 80 is a new name. Haven't seen that one before. Steve Martin's in. What's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, Sarah. Welcome back. It's Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments this Friday night with you. It's Friday night. It's been another week, guys. We've had the usual ups and downs. We've had Labour and the Tories. We've had Badenoch and Jenrick, although those two have kept a curiously low profile the last few days. But we've still had, what else have we had? We've had Labour's half-briefed and half-leaked budget policies. We've still had Trump and Harris, that whole debacle.
God.
We've still had the Earth's temperature predicted to rise by 3.5 degrees Celsius. So don't worry, people. Don't worry. There is never any shortage of bad news for us to look at on these Friday night sessions. So yes, here we are once again. It's you, it's me, it's your dad's balls. Let's just get into it. As once again, we try to reason with the rabid and wrong, to reckon with the reckless, the ridiculous, and the outright reprehensible. Yes, I'm on point with the alliteration tonight. No, it won't last. In fact, this is probably me peaking early. It's all downhill from here. True disappointment style. Now, tonight is the first guested show for quite some time. Regular, frequent, and fervent viewers will attest. Now, when you move back into doing guested shows, getting guests onto your podcast, after a bit of a break, I mean, really, there is only one person who would be fitting for that, to kick this next batch of them off, to get us back on track with the top-tier guested shows. A lady who embodies the satire, the wit, and the compassion. But unfortunately, Emily Thornberry is not returning my calls. So, please welcome to the show the wonderful, the equal parts hilarious and deadly Super Tansky is in the house this evening. Woo!
Wow. I was expecting you to go far worse than that. You're normally way more insulting than that.
I was tempted this afternoon, and the only reason I didn't give you a Jules-style mauling is, my kids have been a bit of a handful, work has been a bit full on, so
I've got you when you're down. Woo!
Yes, you are the beneficiary of my workplace and, familial stress and anxiety.
Yeah, I've affected your ability to roast. Well, no, that's affected your ability to roast. Well, now I'm glad in a way, because you could be so much worse.
I could be. I have been known to be a little bit brutal to guests. People are calling you a national treasure in the live chat. How do you feel about that?
They've got fine taste. No, that's very bizarre to me. When people say stuff like that to me, I go, "Nah, shit, I know, go away." But that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, people. There's a lot of dystopia warnings in the chat also.
Oh, wicked! My people have arrived.
Yeah, welcome, Tan fans.
Yeah, follow Aid. Aid, actually, probably I would say goes way too far, way too often, and that is why we are friends. So,
yeah. It's the bonds that brings us together, isn't it? It's like sometimes if I feel a joke is kind of breaching the perimeter of acceptability, I don't know. Like, if two things happen, the first thing that happens is I get a weird lightheaded feeling in my head. Always had it. Like if there's like an offensive kind of giddiness to it. And the second thing that happens is if it's in the live chat, if it's in the WhatsApp, like the group WhatsApps, I usually break out into a DM and then send it to you, or like, like this might be pushing it a bit far.
No, but I mean, but every time it makes me laugh. I mean, Femi also, I love the fact that you guys come to me. Like Femi will occasionally send me a DM that either of us, we'll show each other DMs, like really dark jokes that we could never publish publicly. Nothing like punching down, obviously, but stuff that's just like, we will get cancelled immediately. So yeah, that makes me feel happy. I like that I'm a kind of like, what's the word? Magnet for very
darkness.
Dark humour. Yeah. Makes me feel good.
I mean, people say that people with ADHD are sort of drawn to each other.
Sonar.
But yeah, I also think it's true of like dark humour. Like when you meet somebody else who's got a dark sense of humour, you're like, oh, okay, we're going to be friends.
But you ever met a stand-up that doesn't have ADHD?
No. Very few and far between.
This is the thing, like every single stand-up I know is like neuro spicy to some extent.
Yeah. It's a sort of, I was about to say it's a standing joke. It's a sort of in-joke of stand-up comedy circles, is like if you did know somebody who was not neurodivergent or didn't have ADHD, like that would be the story. Yeah. That's interesting. Should tell people that.
About the stand-up without ADHD.
Yeah. How's your week been? Anyway, before we get into news.
All right, yeah. I mean, this is actually the first, I've been writing. I've been so inspired to write lately. A lot of it's focusing on, like little Tommy Hobbitson and
of course,
like the reform lot. And I've been kind of falling down some rabbit holes regarding Russia and the.
Okay.
It was bloody Asif Kapadia's film. Like it.
Yeah.
My life.
Oh yeah, because so you went to the premiere of this last week.
You saw
not premiere,
like we've been invited, haven't we? Like to previews essentially. And,
that's it. Yeah.
It was. I think you saw one of the first work in progresses, but I saw another one, and I honestly I felt like Edward Munch's The Scream. I was like, oh god.
I felt like I think I said this. I probably broke out into a separate like DM with you to say this.
Yeah, you definitely need a drink after.
I was like, you're gonna need a drink afterwards, and also like I had to fight the urge within me to not go up to him and make it like deliberately, like comedically make it awkward and go, I really enjoyed that. Otherwise, like, oh, I love a comedy because it's so. Like, for the benefit of people in the chat and watching this, so this new film by Asif Kapadia, who's celebrated director of movies like Amy, the Ayrton Senna one, this new one that he's been working on. We've both gone to sort of separate screenings of this thing, and it is really dark. It's a sort of forewarning of where we're headed to if disinformation and authoritarians continue to take hold, and it's a great piece of work. It's compelling, but it's so fucking dark, and like so there's that urge inside me to like, just make it awkward, lighten the mood with a bit of awkwardness.
Really enjoyed that, Asif. Thanks. Yeah, definitely going to be like a multiple watch that. If I'm feeling a bit down, boom, stick that on. No, it's really, but I like the way that, because he talked afterwards, he said he had to intersperse like the narrative of the person in the future that's existing, just to try and break up the footage, because it's real footage. It's like autocrats, dictators like Modi, Putin, like you've got what's going on with the, the persecution of Muslims in China. And it's and the big tech bros, obviously, and then you like Peter Thiel, and you've got like Elon Musk, and it's like run by those twats, basically.
there's a line in it that really struck a chord with me, where they said about we've fought. I'm sure that I'm butchering the quote here, but it was something along the lines of we fought to get our freedoms, and we sculpted democracy. And we gave ourselves a real pat on the back for that. But actually now, in the late 20th century and early 21st, we've just swapped kings and queens for these unelected tech bureaucrat types. So they are the new kings and queens. They are the new dictators, untouchable.
Yeah.
Um,
According, but by wealth, just like I guess like the kings and queens are, but at least there's some form of, I guess, tradition and lineage to that. With this, it's kind of just spoiled brat wankers, isn't it? Just taking over the world. But mind you, so are the royals. I mean, I don't see one as any more kind of legitimate than the other, really.
No,
in terms of those two,
you have issues with either one of them, really.
Both have too much money, too much power, too much land, and be eaten.
Like, I don't mind if people are rich. I don't mind if they're privileged, or even if they're born into riches and privilege. But it's the obliviousness and entitlement that really winds me up. It's like somebody like Elon Musk is a sort of nepo baby elements to him, right? Like his dad was.
Yeah, his dad had like an emerald mine or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. You know, he's surfed into his existence and his privilege, untroubled by the challenges that would frustrate everyone else's hopes and dreams. So there's that. And then once he is a billionaire, there was a thing in this news a couple of weeks ago where he was supposed to turn up to a deposition or some sort of court thing, and he was like, just didn't show. Truly believes like he's above the law, and then in a matter of days, he started doing the $1 million lottery thing, and you know, there's a lot of people saying that.
Right, yeah.
And people are like, oh, he's going to get into trouble. I guess Elon wants to go to jail. I'm like, he's never going to go to jail. Like, what have we learned in this whole US election campaign? It's like, how many times did we think Trump was going to get knocked down, sent to jail, fined into oblivion? None of it's sticking.
And it won't. Like, I mean, it's mad. I mean, there's a cult element to it as well. Because they've got like Trump and Musk have got this kind of grip on disinformation and the platforms in which to spread it. So as long as they've got that stranglehold, and that line about without truth you can't have trust, and without trust there is kind of chaos, that really resonated with me in the film, because it's so true. I mean, it doesn't matter what's true anymore, and that's the scary thing. Because and it's not just applying to what people are saying in the kind of cults either. It applies to, you know, like AI and the dickheads that are in control of the AI. And it's like the last people you want in control of that are people like Elon Musk. It's just another level. And yeah, that's the thing that really worries me is the kind of grip that we're losing on truth at the moment. Like we're coming right back to like the most basic concepts. It's like just keeping a hold on what's real.
Yeah.
Slipping through our fingers. And without that, it's pandemonium. All hell breaks loose.
But it's like, who was I watching the other day where they said like they had a window of opportunity to regulate social media, Twitter included, and then even after Elon Musk bought it and turned it into X, and all of the trouble that Facebook got into, like every single major tech company, they've had opportunities to regulate these guys, and at every single juncture they've failed. And now we just are where we are. And it's like, do I actually think there is still any, you know, road left to run on that? Would it be possible even now to regulate a Twitter or a Facebook and actually get control on echo chambers, which is basically where all of this comes from, right? If they suddenly regulated Meta and Twitter and cable news and, you know, the majority right-wing press in this country, we could probably dig our way out of a lot of the problems that we're faced with. Like, there's not the same echo chamber problem in Russia because it's state-controlled media, right? There's not the same echo chamber-fueled political violence or risk of political violence in China because there's state-controlled media. And I'm not suggesting we should be like a China or a Russia, but we should be a bit like China and Russia, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, the BBC is the thing that keeps us away from that, because that's our last kind of grip of hope, because it's a state broadcaster that most of the people watch, and it's not perfect. It's headed up by Tories. It stops us from going down the route and you know the fucked up situation they've got in America with their media, because it's all chaos. It's like all GB News madness, free for all. Like no one watches any one singular media source as a majority.
Yeah,
America. In America. So in the UK, we've got the BBC, and that is kind of at the moment keeping a fragment of sense and not letting us go into like loads of different little talk. Because if you look at Talk TV and GB News, numbers are so low. It's niche. It's a niche little side piece of madness. Whereas if everyone's, even though it is a little bit North Korea with its coverage of the royal family, etc.,
Yeah.
when you look at the kind of just the kind of impartiality, better than most. And yes, that's why they want to defund it, because they know that if you defund the BBC, you're going to lose that little grip of sense. And I see loads of problems with the BBC, but they want us to defund it. They want to get rid of it. And that's why the right are constantly doing the whole let's take away the license fee. So they lose a substantial amount of money and power and reach with that. So yeah, we need the BBC. We just need it to be better. We need reform, not that reform.
Should we talk a bit about reform? Because there was a story that bubbled up yesterday evening, or maybe it was this morning, about how Nigel Farage has been sending out letters to Tory councillors. They've been targeting Tory councillors to try to persuade them to defect to reform.
Yeah. And the reason for that, I think there's many reasons for this. A big part of it is the fact that they've won fuck all council by-elections or by-elections broadly since the general election, like
right.
any. I think I've got a stat here. Oh yeah, there were 13 council by-elections yesterday, and they won precisely fuck all of them.
Oh right.
And they've had one seat from 107 since the general election. So I think a lot of it, until obviously, I think there was a woman in Scotland that they managed to get over, and they're just councillors. They're not kind of,
Yeah.
But there should still be, like, we massively need reform in terms of calling a by-election automatically.
Yeah.
If someone defects, those people did not choose to be represented by those pricks.
Yeah.
So especially like what? I mean, when were the last? I mean, council by-elections are not. They don't go in a kind of flow, do they? Or they do, don't they? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm getting kind of like PTSD from like all the years of like by-elections. But why is Farage doing it? I mean, I think there's a part of it is the fact that he's like Daniel O'Donnell, right? So he's got to stay relevant to his grey crowd. Like Ewan Love from Father Ted. He's got to kind of like keep in their consciousness.
Yeah.
And he knows that most of the press will jizz over him and go, oh yeah, let's look at that. Let's not talk about him going over with ex-felon, not even out of jail yet, Bannon, for 6 to 30 grand a ticket when he gets out of jail in America. Let's not look at all the money that he's like the people that the Bannon campaign are lending him. No, let's just platform him uncritically, no matter what he's saying.
I think that's it. I think a lot of it is just him keeping his name in the news. If it's a quiet week for Farage, like that's his currency, isn't it? Is the fact that he can command column inches from the Telegraph. The Express will happily give him a front page if he does something that they perceive as newsworthy. I guess maybe is there a thing around, and I'm happy to be educated on this if anyone knows in the live chat, but is there a thing around like if you have above a certain number of local councillors, then you get access to like centralised like party funding or something weird like that? I could imagine it being like that.
Well, there's no chance. Well, I don't know about that, but I know that there's no chance they're going to get it, because they are I think they've got one Scottish lady who's evidently got an IQ of room temperature. It's over. And I'll stop calling them thick when they can use grammar properly or any words. And so you've got that going on. And then obviously you've still got all the old kind of like, I suppose like, well, it depends really. I mean, they're a bit irrelevant. I think this is probably just them trying to get a bit of relevance, because they're getting, everything else is taking up.
Yeah. I wondered if it was like a sort of, like, because one of the big criticisms about reform pre-general election result was that, look, you could vote for reform, but really what you're doing is you're protesting against the Tories, because the Tories are the legacy, traditional, proven, tentacles out everywhere, conservative club, like social clubs in every major town. They've just got the infrastructure and the national footprint there. And I wondered if, like, is this a means to getting that? Like, you guys don't have the infrastructure, and then they turn around and go like, well, we're going to fucking see about that. Like, we're going to get councillors from this place, councillors from that place. They've got their feet in the filing cabinets. Like they've got. Do you know what I mean?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because they're going to. What I think is going to happen is my prediction. I'm calling it already. I've also called it is that Farage is going to stand as the leader of the Conservatives at the next general election.
Do you think he'll do that?
He's going to defect. Yeah, Clacton, as is being proven every day.
Yeah,
it's a skull for him to step on. That's been proven. I mean, I might put a bet on it actually.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the kind of the two options that we have, the two kind of mad clowns that we have in terms of the Conservative Party, like Bad Enoch and, you know, giant baby Genric, ultra like right, ultra fash. I can't see that they're going to be able to row back. I mean, wasn't Genric saying that he won't even have anyone in his cabinet that won't agree to leaving the ECHR, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking madness. The ECHR is the new Brexit, stripping away all our rights under the guise of freedom, right?
Yeah.
Compared to them two, Farage almost looks normal. I mean, like he could model himself, he could row it back, model himself as they kind of are a little bit already as a more right centre.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
He's a salesman. He could win them. He could probably win it. Like, this is the scary thing. He could probably do it.
I mean, the problem that the Tories have is that Farage has the charisma and the... Hey, look, I'm not saying I love the guy. I'm just saying...
He's just a really good bullshitter.
In terms of being a political communicator and commanding attention and having the newspaper editors at his beck and call constantly and easily being able to carpet bomb the front pages of Fleet Street whenever he chooses, whether that's a debanking scandal or, I don't know, I'm struggling to think of all the times that he's been across, like, or like the ECHR stuff. Like, he's talked a lot about the ECHR and then ended up on the front page of the Express. So the problem that they have is that it doesn't really matter what policies they go for. He'll always be there as a mascot for those policies and the harder right version thereof. So they're really like, they're trying to do the same thing as, I don't know, Theresa May tried and Boris Johnson tried and Liz tried. Like, they're all trying to out UKIP.
Yes.
And they're not going to fucking succeed.
No, they're not. They're not. And this is the thing. They've learned absolutely sweet fuck all from the election.
Yeah.
Because people unequivocally voted. Well, it went two ways, really, didn't it? I wouldn't say people unequivocally voted against that. They didn't want the Tories because the Tories had just, you know, opened the curtain and revealed all the shit. So you wanted that. And then Reform are just, you know, posh opportunists. So they came in with that whole kind of like GB News. They'd already managed to platform and seed it for years through GB News. I can't believe Tories.
Yeah.
And, you know, prospective candidates are even allowed to do that still. So
I will just say this about this whole, like, writing to get Tory councillors to defect is, like, there's only been one, right, so far that has defected. And that guy was already suspended by the Conservative Party. So it's like, he's not really... He's done the old, like, Lee Anderson. He's done the old Lee Anderson sort of, like, drive across... Not across the floor, because it's a bit different, but it's like...
Who's this? What?
His name is... Let me get the picture up for everyone at home. Hold on a sec.
Because this is literally the first pod that I've done since the general election, besides, you know, fanning around on Politics Social.
Here you go. Right. His name is Jamie McIver. And he was chosen as the Hemel Hempstead Conservative candidate in May. And then he was suspended by the Conservative Party. I don't know what for yet. I was just digging into that before you and I came on online.
It was livestock.
It could well have been. We can't say that with any certainty. We don't know what he did exactly, but all we can do is wildly speculate.
Allegedly, he was fucking a cow. Like.
We've heard rumours. We're not saying he has, either way.
We're not saying he has. Could have.
Yeah, it could have happened. It also might not have.
Might not, but could.
So he was suspended, and then he decided that he was going to defect to Reform. Lee Anderson was suspended from the Conservative Party and then decided he was going to defect for Reform. So in my mind, I'm like, Reform are like Christianity and Russell Brand. Like, Russell Brand's shtick was kind of running thin with all the allegations bubbling up in the background, and then he became a Christian. That's the same thing with reform. It's like they get in trouble in the Conservative Party. They get a bit too hard right or racist or dodgy. And they walk across there to a safe haven.
Munya Chua did a brilliant thing on Russell Brand discovering Jesus, right? It's like when the allegations started rolling in, he's like, oh, yeah. Man, God. But like Lee Anderson, there was that leaked, when the Times weren't, just, didn't have their nose entirely pressed to the arsehole of the Tories. They did that expose. Well, not expose. He said it at a public event. He said he's been offered a lot of money by Reform to defect.
Yeah.
A lot of money to defect, and then literally 3 months later, he gets himself all accidentally on purpose embroiled in an Islamophobia scandal. The Tories have to get rid of him because at that point they were still at least loosely pretending to give a shit. And boom, he's snapped up by old Daddy Farage and Daddy Tice, both of whom come from immense wealth.
Yeah. This is the thing, like, you're right, like, so all of that is on record. He did say that, and then he did defect. And yet, I've never seen anyone actually present that to him and go like, well, hang on a second, you said you were being offered $100,000 to defect to reform. That's what you said.
Well, I tried to. Like, I actually did have a tweet that went kind of a little bit viral on Twitter, in which I was like asking him the question, and I was like, just asking questions.
Yeah.
Lee, why did you defect? Lee, did you defecting have anything to do? Lee, did you get any money from Reform? And every time they were doing like, this is before like Musk went full wanker, and they were getting like, quite high numbers for tweets.
Yeah.
And he just completely ignored it. And then I ended up facing a couple of weeks of threats and smears, and as I usually do after calling them out, and then it all just kind of went away.
Yeah.
I'd love to go up to him in person and ask him. I'd love to.
Be interesting, wouldn't it? It's like, so you were paid. You were paid.
It'd be like,
away.
were you paid at Lee? Because obviously I'm not going to assume he was. It's like, were you, Lee? All right then. You weren't. Okay, well get your facts out for the lads then. Let's see his bank statements. It didn't happen.
I mean, I will just say I'm pretty sure that he was paid, that they paid him a lot of money. I'd love to see him prove that he wasn't. Because it just seems so. It's like, come on, man. Like he says he's offered the money, and then he defects. This is like, you don't have to be fucking Poirot.
And it's like Columbo. Well, just one thing. But no, you don't have to be but at the same time, for legal reasons, you have to present it as a question. You can't come in with a position of assumption or making a statement. But because them lot, they just love to sue people for calling them out, don't they?
Well, there is that, yes. This is why we're very careful to say, did you fuck livestock?
Did you fuck a cow, or was it a sheep?
Yeah, but you can also say the thing and then just bolt a question mark on the end, can't you? Like, you did? You did fuck it, didn't you? Like,
you did fuck a cow?
Does that hold up in court? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
After the break.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
So I don't know. It's I mean, I hope that they don't manage to convince all these councillors to defect, because I would not like to see a reform footprint expand anymore.
I don't think they will. I mean, there's just too much other distraction really going on. I mean, not least everyone pretending that there's two-tier policing because
that was the thing he was saying the other day, wasn't it? He was like, if you're middle-aged and white and you're involved in political unrest, you are more likely to get a jail sentence than if you're a young... And then the person says... Oh, no, it's Harry Cole that was interviewing.
You're not.
He goes, do you actually believe that? And then he says, that's the perception. That's everyone else's perception. He's so snaky and slithery. It's like he can't bring himself to say, no, that is not actually
true. And why is it the perception? Because you've been saying this false bullshit constantly to people on your TV show that you're paid an extraordinary amount of money for. It's all about the money for these people.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, the whole two-tier thing. I mean, when you look at all you've got to do is do a basic Google, and you'll discover that people of colour are treated at every step of the way disproportionately worse than a white person.
Yeah.
It's just basic common sense. And then, that's not even taking into account the institutional misogyny, racism, homophobia of the police system. And also Tommy Robinson, right? He was able, despite essentially being charged under terror law, able to just walk along and hand himself into the station. Could you,
Yeah.
when there's a big demo planned tomorrow in London, for which there is a counter demo, could you see a Muslim like that's possibly going to be accused of like terror offences, or they think could be, you know, on the terror list, right? Just being
Yeah.
able to just toddle on down to London and not being picked up by the police. It just wouldn't. That's two-tier. You know,
Yeah.
that's the difference. Right-wing extremism is treated with nowhere near the same amount of weight. Unbelievable.
I was thinking earlier, like, with Tommy Robinson being known as Tommy Robinson rather than Stephen Yaxley Lennon, right? That if I was his manager, if I was his agent, I would probably advise him to do this right now. I would say, like, okay, look, you remember Dapper Laughs, right? A few years ago, Dapper Laughs, he's flying high, he's got his little show, he gets in a lot of trouble for doing a rape joke or for somebody saying something about rape at one of his gigs, and then that's it, he's cancelled, he loses his show, but he gets dragged onto Newsnight, and he puts his, he wears a little roll neck, and then he says, it was all a character. You know, so, yeah, Dapper Laughs was a character that I dreamt up, and now I can see that it's gone a bit far. That's what you should do, Tommy. That's what you should do. You should say, Tommy Robinson, it was all a character. I was portraying, I was performing him. Yes, it went a little bit too far, but, you know, just reinvent, you know, rebrand, like Russell.
I mean, getting your Y fronts, you know, whether anyone likes to see it or not, getting the Thames in your Y fronts. Yeah. The problem is with Dapper Laughs, right? Poor example, that prick is all over Andrew Tate's tweets, like, you know, oh, I want to touch it, Tate, I want to touch it. You know, he's all over it, and he's totally like, again, two kid, like he's gone proper hard, misogynistic, like hanging out with, wanting to, you know, desperately hanging on the coattails.
I think it's a clicks and views and attention economy thing, isn't it? I think he has made a calculation at some point that his fan base, or, you know, watcher base, like, for want of a better word, are, lots of them are men, lots of them are of a certain age, and that sort of stuff will resonate with them. Or like when he rants, or if he rants about X, Y, and Z, then that's what gets the clicks from that particular subset of people. And it is troubling, because it's like,
it's opportunism.
Yeah, like there's a whole other world out there that you could be exploring, that, like, based on, or like anchored in truth, and justice, and fun.
You, me, Graham, we always talk about this. We say if we were right-wing shills, we would be fucking minted. Like,
I could do with some of that right-wing money.
We'd be rolling in it. We'd be just like, you know, making it rain. We'd be happy, right? But we'd be happy. But as it stands, like there's none of that on the left side. None of it.
No money.
Like Labour, like people are like, oh, Labour's paying you. Chance would be a fucking fine thing. I'd love Labour to pay me. They've never once paid me. Yeah. We've had to take loads of shit, right? Got the ball over the line to get out the fascists, and now we're getting blamed for Labour.
I know. It's like when I read these exposés about, like, oh, Tim Pool works for a company, and that company takes money from these shell companies, and they funnel millions and millions of dollars. Tim Pool is making millions of dollars out of Russia. It's Russian money. I'm like, fucking hell, am I playing for the wrong team here? I'm sat in my shed, Tan.
You're like, are we the goodies? We the goodies? Like, what's going on?
I'm sat in my shed with some Play fairy lights wrapped around my budget mic. Play fairy lights that I found in a box. And that'll spruce the place up a bit in my shed. Give me some of that Russia money.
Room, right, in a barren spare room, which looks like a fucking hostage holding pen.
Yeah.
And all I've got fuck all in this room. Nothing.
I mean, you do look a bit like you've been kidnapped. You do. Like, if
furniture, blink twice.
if it wasn't for the little funny ghost on the jumper, I'd be like, is ISIS like wrapped her up in all black and like?
Yeah, I'm keeping it festive. You know, it is the goth season. It's goth Christmas, isn't it?
Halloween. I mean, ISIS is quite scary, so.
Well, I would, given the choice, I'd rather not be kidnapped by them, but I'm not. I'm just a left-wing content creator, which is worse. Yeah, it's
I don't
hard
know,
to.
man.
Oh dear God, we've gone on some tangents tonight, haven't we?
We have. I was thinking, like, what are some funny reasons? Maybe this is a question for the live chat. People can get involved if you like.
Get involved, you slags.
What are some funny reasons, people in the live chat? YouTube channel members, Patreons. What's some funny reasons that Tommy Robinson would have refused to have handed over his mobile phone to the police? What are some fun reasons? Because there's myriad reasons that you might not want anybody, not even a policeman, maybe your wife, maybe, I don't know, college professor, policeman, MI5, whoever. Why does Tommy Robinson, why is he so adamant that he shouldn't hand over his phone for the police to just have a little look at? People in the chat, let us know.
Well, I personally probably just, I don't know, wall to wall.
You got to be careful here. Frame it like a question, quick.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not actually. What I was thinking is probably way too far, even without the possible suing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already put the old link out, hasn't he? Go fund me, I'm in prison again. I mean, this is why he gets himself arrested. I mean, that's probably a big reason, is the bunts, the bunts and burners. And then there's also the, it'll generate headlines. Because if he's probably wiped the bitch and he just wants to get a little bit more money in the GoFundMe. I mean, Kaylin, who used to work for Byline, has talked about this. I mean, he was in the far right. He shared stuff on Twitter about this, about how once he started realizing he could make money, all bets were off. He was just doing whatever he could to make that GoFundMe money, I mean,
the thing that gets me is like, how many times can one man get arrested for actually quite a rich cocktail of different variants of like right-wing civil unrest or incitement, or wasn't there a thing about the money that he'd raised? Like I've got to phrase this like a question now. Had it been abused? Did he draw it out and blow it all on a load of cocaine? I don't know. I'm just asking.
He looked very red-faced and like he did sound like he was going to start a business on one of his live stream once. So yeah, you never know. I mean, this is his business, to be fair. He doesn't even need the GAC to think about doing that. But I mean, probably. I mean, this is the thing. I think two-tier policing. He's free to swan around Europe, but two-tier policing. Whiteys get it worst. Yeah, really. Like
two-tier activism as well, though. Like I was looking back at some of his past stuff, and I was like, hang on a sec. Like, isn't he the same guy who said like that when Muslim women wear the burqa, like what have they got to hide? Like it creates suspicion. Is that him or was that Farage?
Probably.
I can't remember.
I mean, it could be a Tory now. I mean, it could be Johnson.
But now it's like, well, what have you got to hide? Like,
yeah.
Why don't you hand your fucking phone over? No, I've got nothing to hide, but also no.
Maybe
that was a terrible Tommy impression.
In a burqa.
Yeah.
Peek under the veil. Yeah, no, I know it's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, it's just, and again, I hate it when they bring women into it as well, because essentially his fanboys, I tweeted about this the other day, they're basically like, oh, hate Muslims, hate the Taliban. You are basically the white British Taliban. You think that only brown men are rapists. You ignore the nonces and the offenders in your own ranks, like Robinson did apparently in the EDL. If I speak out or I say something they don't like, they throw rape threats at me and death threats at me. So it's like you're basically doing to a white woman what the Taliban would do to women in their country, you dickhead. So you're no better.
Yeah, it's like that Marina Hyde quote from like years ago where she's talking about Farage and like the ultra conservative Muslims in, I can't remember if it was Afghanistan or wherever, but she's basically saying like, yeah, if these people were born under different stars, they would be like the best of friends. but just
Yeah.
because of like how far apart they are, sworn enemies. They're just like fear between each other.
And there's profit in that as well. There's enormous amounts of profit on the right for nowadays just being massively racist. Like,
Yeah,
it's that's where we've got to. It's like that is their MO, and that is that's what makes them money, is just exploiting what they see as an innate bigotry. And I hate the way that they try to make out that being working class is synonymous with bigotry. And it's
yeah,
like, oh, we're just sticking up for the white working class. It's like, mate, I'm white working class. I think you're a like, no. No.
yeah. Yeah,
Fuck
you
off.
hear it like from all of them as well. It's like, you know, when the
Saying that.
guys in, was it the guys in Rotherham or was it nearer to Ashfield? I can't remember. But Lee Anderson was like, he was defending the rioters, saying, you know, I think for the most part these are just like working class lads who got a bit caught up in something, and you know, I don't think we need to be too harsh on them. And I was like, are you for real? Like, if I was like a white working class lad from a northern town like that, and I saw that shit going on, and you tried to like mesh me together with that, I'd be fucking livid.
Especially when Tice comes out with it. He's literally a privately educated guy from extortionate family wealth, like an enormous
Yeah.
family wealth, that was a bloody what? I can't remember what he did, but it was like a particularly posh job,
Mm.
and made loads of money and has never had to struggle in his life. And he's going, well, this is just inherently what the working classes are. Like, it's like, fuck off, they are.
Yeah.
Like, it's what you would like, it's what you've told people they are. And if you repeat a lie enough through your links, I mean, again, I don't think Farage is a particularly brilliant politician. He just has like a grasp on the information sources. He's just got a stranglehold on the people that can present him as such. Yeah, he can do a speech really well, like any other psychopath can, but no, it doesn't matter how good a psychopath you are. If you're not getting airtime, you're not going to be able to get a message out there. And that's the problem. I think they are grooming him into that job as much as anything else. I think they want him there because he's the ultimate copy. And for them, it's they're not journalists anymore. They're just rage baiters. You know, they're just sensationalists.
There's so much to this ecosystem, isn't there? I mean, like, obviously you've got the exploitative, opportunistic angle of people like Tice and Farage, both privately educated, both very wealthy individuals, then, you know, tapping into the whole, this is what working class lads like. They're all ignorant. They're all bigots. There's that side of it. There's also the sort of the classist caricature part of it, where it's like, are they being exploitative, or do they genuinely, out of a classist sensibility, do they truly think that working class people are actually all that ignorant? And it just so happens that happens to pay dividends for them then politically, you know? Could be either.
You know, like this is the thing. It's all just a big horrible mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the problem is we don't have a basis of truth, and we're like in the Brexit debates that you would have fucking whack jobs, and you would have real economists given an equal equivalence, right?
Yeah.
Which was insane. And we have this now with someone just spouting off just the maddest shit you could ever imagine, and someone talking sense. And if the person's spouting the nonsense convincingly enough, people will go, oh, well, I believe that, you know, but it's what people choose to believe. And I think a lot of people know they're being conned. They just don't give a fuck. They're like, they want to feel a part of something. Their life's shit. They're not looking, they're looking at the finger that's pointing at the sky when it comes to who's responsible.
Yeah.
And they're just falling for bullshit. And and they're willing to believe it because, you know, I suppose it gives them a bit of control to believe a conspiracy theory, or it makes them feel powerful to kick down on someone. It's just bullshit.
I think there's a lot of that. I think it's like this sort of natural, innate need to feel protected by a collective. And I think in the absence of there being a state that looks after anyone, you know, via education or health or whatever, like if we're going really psychological about this sort of stuff, I think, I think a lot of people, or for a lot of people, in the absence of that, and with no or very little financial security now, and the outlook looking really bleak, the one thing that they can still cling to is like a flag and national identity and this feeling that like, oh, you're not really British, you don't look English, so this is my country, so I'll be looked after if I resort back to that sort of, you know, base level flag fucking nonsense. I just want to go quickly to the live chat because a few people have contributed some thoughts and feelings. A lot of people saying Tommy Robinson would have had Grindr open. I'm not saying it. In terms of, sorry, just rewinding. In terms of the reasons that he may have not wanted somebody to look at his phone in the police station even. People suggesting Grindr. I've got 3 or 4 people in a row going like, Grindr, yeah, totally Grindr, yep. Richard Grumpy Git says goat porn. Okay, all right. Hashtag Tories fuck livestock. Maybe we need to update it to Tommy. Not that I'm saying that. I'm saying, has Tommy fucked livestock? We don't know.
I mean, you're not mentioning a surname, and it's not even his real name. I mean, he's
well, there you go. Yeah, are you Tommy? No, you're not. Show us your passport, you cunt.
Your Irish passport.
Yeah. There's a slightly complicated name here. MS Nikki Davis says OnlyFans. Could have been.
I was thinking more kind of like just really, you know, porn that's from a different era, a different place. Sorry, not
Vintage
a different era,
porn.
not ragtime.
Mojo Sabian says it's full of bestiality porn. There's a theme here, isn't there? Any new viewers who are coming across and they're like, oh, check out this aid guide that Tan's tweeted about or, you know, put out a link to. I'm sure he'll just talk about, you know, politics and it'll be a bit right on and activisty. They come on here and I'm just like, Tories fuck livestock, goat fucking, and they're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, come on, Aid. They wouldn't be surprised if I vouched for you and you were saying that. I mean, I'm not one to shy away from
props not
controversial topics.
What else have we got in here? Let's have a look. Because his phone is made by Tommy. It's like a toy phone. Yep, could be. Pygmalion says tiny dick pics.
That's brilliant.
What else have we got?
Tiny dick pics.
Yeah, I love the extra tiny there, like an extra emphasis. Tiny dick pics.
Tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love all the memes that have come out already have been about the fact that he's fucking tiny. And also him tripping over the bollard, which is one of my favourite videos ever.
Gran porn, says Insight 80.
Oh God, has anyone said anything besides porn?
No, it's mostly like, you know, gran porn, goat porn, OnlyFans. There was one person said Russian phone numbers. Could be.
Oh, I mean, it's a publicity stunt from a publicity cunt, isn't it? I mean, that's what it is. It's him just eking out the GoFundMe. Because he knows it's like, you know, if they open it and they don't find anything, he's just going to get let out again. It's like, oh, the hero's out. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about that, right? Like, if it is all just, you know, trying to find the next floor on the grift lift, if it is all about just getting some money in, which I don't doubt, you know, it sounds like from, you know, what various people have said who have worked with these individuals, that it is actually all just about money. Wouldn't an out of all of this isn't a potential solution for all this, that we could actually shop people like Tommy Robinson or a Boris Johnson or a Suella Braverman or whoever into a more lucrative thing? Like Boris Johnson could host TV game shows, I reckon. He could host Bullseye or something.
Oh God, catchphrase.
Tommy Robinson, if he went on like Newsnight with a roll neck and like cleaned up his image and said it was all a character, he could next year, Tommy for Bake Off.
Oh my God, could you imagine him getting really fucking angry trying to make donuts?
Oh, I'd love it. Just like tips the fucking work desk over, the cake goes on the floor.
Especially if there's someone that's like of a different skin colour on the panel. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, it'd be great TV. I mean, I don't watch reality TV, but I would watch that.
I don't. I mean, you could have like the real fash wives of...
Could be. Aren't they all divorced? I feel like they're all divorced, all these guys.
Oh God, if they're not, they should be. But yeah, I think probably. I'd imagine so. I mean, because I don't think men that are happy or, you know,
Lots of divorced energy coming, like just dripping off, like Nigel Farage,
oh
Tommy,
yeah,
Elon.
oh Elon, Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, I mean he's. Oh, I don't understand how anyone can go near him. He's like, in Father Ted again, that guy that's kind of like really weird. That's got the I Shot JR t-shirt on.
Yeah, yeah.
That sits on the thing and farmers. I can imagine that is basically what Elon would be if he didn't have any money. He's just a simpleton. He's a freak. That guy is just an annoyingly simple man.
Have you seen the 2 tweets that are being shared around of his? One is from 2017 and one is from last week.
No.
I assume that they're genuine. They might not be. But the one from 2017 is him saying, when he was just a tech CEO, relatively anonymous, people didn't really know who he was. It's him saying, I love Wikipedia. It just keeps getting better and better, right?
What?
And then this last week, it says Wikipedia is run by like leftist activist Marxists or something. Like, it's like these 2 tweets are like, it's like if you drew a graph of like the before and the after of like radicalizing yourself by buying a social media platform, tweaking the echo chambers, sitting back and you just slowly, like, your eyeballs drinking all the garbage, like watching GB News and fucking Breitbart all day.
I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, it's such a bizarre tweet anyway. I mean, who would tweet, I love Wikipedia? I mean, that's the bizarre thing to tweet in the first place.
I know what you mean. It is a bit weird, which is why I thought, like, is it genuine? Is it legit? Or has someone done the old...
going around from him that are not. But the problem is, everything is so, upside down madland that we don't know what's real and what's not. So it could be, just by the account of how mad he is. I mean, like, he was sharing a fake Telegraph article, wasn't he?
Yes.
That was talking about, what was it talking about? My memory.
Keir Starmer planning to send dissidents off to...
Falkland Islands.
The Falklands, yeah.
What?
I know. I was talking about this on the Wednesday show. I was like, the stuff that he shared disinformation of in terms of putting dissidents in camps... He shared disinformation about that to scare people off of Starmer in the GE campaign, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is true when said about Donald Trump. He has said he's going to construct camps for people in the US, a portfolio of camps. Basically concentration camps. Yes.
It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I saw a clip of, like, because Trump's apparently going to do another press thing tonight. I wonder if he's going to get accidentally on purpose shot again. But in the background, like, literally all you could see was the people, like, filing in. And you could just see, literally just in big letters, Trump, deport illegals, Trump, deport illegals, like, all over this, like, thing. It's like, what the fuck world are we living in? It's like, and I feel like they're just trying to kind of like grease people's asses a little bit for the impending climate catastrophe. Because if you think this is immigration now, you wait until we're like knee deep in water, you bellends, and like
mate,
water. Like, you wait.
It's gonna be fucking terrible.
It's gonna get so much worse. So enjoy yourself while you can, is my advice.
I remember being on a panel at Byline, and the other guests there were Femi, Gina. What's her surname again? Say again?
Gina Miller?
Yes, Gina Miller. And she was talking about the hysteria around immigration. And she said basically very similar to what you've just said. Like, if you think immigration is a concern now, you should be rallying behind, like, net zero initiatives and, like, addressing climate change. Because you have not seen nothing yet. Like, we shit our tits about immigration figures of being a bit, like, 700,000 net migration, a totally manageable figure for an economy like ours,
and the land mass about. I mean, we can easily accommodate that.
Because and just as a side note for anyone that's unaware, Britain is like 98% unbuilt on. It's like this idea that Britain is full is fucking ridiculous. Like, we could easily
land, like
So, but once climate change really kicks in and sea levels rise and previously inhabitable parts of Europe and North Africa are no longer habitable. People won't be able to grow food.
America.
It'll just be, yeah, people will start to come to a country like this. And I don't have a huge issue. Like, I don't think it's wrong to have some concerns about, you know, national security and checks and, like, you know, be sensible about who you let into the country. I don't think that's a terrible sensibility to have. But if you are of a mindset where you are, like, culturally, you worry about what might be lost if 1 million people with different values and different cultural identities come in, if that's a thing that worries you, then you should fucking give a fuck about climate change.
I mean,
it's nutty.
It's not even gonna, like, yeah, that's the problem. It's not even gonna. It's gonna be like a million times worse. And I think that's why a lot of them are making the case now, and they're trying to make people ultra racist. But the problem with, like, immigration is virtually every argument besides racism falls flat on its arse. We've always historically, financially, economically benefited from immigration. That is just a fact. So I say to people, what's your problem then? You know, if your problem is, you know, you're trying to claim that it's like the reason we've got problems with infrastructure and, like, is because our government for 14 years has invested jack shit in our public services. In fact, they've just stripped away and they've cut because of ideological austerity. So you know, it's not a case of like, oh, you know, there's not enough room for them. It's like, well, there would be if our government had invested to account for just basic population changes anyway without immigration. They haven't. So like, people are squabbling as it is with low immigration because there's been no investment. Our roads are fucked. Our schools are fucked. They're falling down. Our hospitals are falling down.
Yeah.
Our courts are falling down.
But it's funny, like, if you war game it, if you go like, okay, look, you need more tax money from the top end to come into the economy to fund more schools, more like night school used to be a big thing. If you like social mobility, you could go and do a course at night school and then go on to university. All of that stuff's finished. NHS walk-in centres, all, like, you just need extra, like, money from the billionaires and from the corporations. But the argument against that is that then you deter business and people would not set up shop over here. So then the argument back against that is like, okay, well, we will start our own British businesses. So you start British businesses and then you tariff the international companies when they sell in. But you would become an unattractive economy for international companies, and it's a risky game. So just bear with me here. So then the solution that I get to when I pan out of this stuff, like, how would you actually fix this, is if you had a global or like a pan-continental treaty between, like, a Europe and a China and an India and a Pakistan and the United States. Like, literally everyone signs up to this fucking thing and goes, corporation tax, minimum 20%, high earners, minimum tax 45%, and then nobody can, like, outperform the other economy and attract all the people. But then it's like, why would an up-and-coming economy like India or Pakistan or Brazil, why would they sign up to that when, like, this is their time? They'll be like, you had the Industrial Revolution, you had the 19th and 20th centuries, now it's our time. You're on the, like, downward keel now. So go fuck yourselves. Like, no,
you're right. And also, like, you know, our Industrial Revolution was in part, you know, thanks to slavery. And if you look at that, that links into what, you know, Starmer and the Royals have been doing over in, they've been, shit, I've completely forgot, it's gone out of my brain. They've been doing this kind of like tour thing. And then you look at the difference in terms of the East and West, right? You've got China, Russia, India, all over at Putin's summit, right? And you've got Britain, and it's kind of like ailing Commonwealth who are all just sick to shit of Britain telling them what to do, which they should be. It's the kind of like the stripping away of the empire, right? The Commonwealth, which I still consider to be massively colonial and, you know, racist and shit. I have no pride in the fact that the Queen thought that she was saving them from savagery. So you've got all that going on. You've got the demands for reparations. And you've got Putin sitting with two of the biggest powers in the world, having successfully helped through interference to strip us away from the European Union and all the checks and balances that come with that. And that's the reason why. So we're an isolated, weak nation, losing their Commonwealth. People are sick of the royal family in Britain and abroad. And Putin's just rubbing his hands going, brilliant, this is our time. You know, as you say, like it's our time to shine. Why should we be involved with any of you? We don't need you. We're proper rich and happy. Plus we've got our useful idiots in Western governments as well. You know, we've got our oligarchs, we've got the honey traps. You know, Johnson's obviously compromised. Trump, you know, Elon, you know, you've got GRU bot farms just pretending to be Brexiteers, you know, infiltrating Facebook, and the tech companies are doing nothing. So yeah, it's all over for us. We're fucked.
It's good to hear somebody else say that, because, you know, most of the time, I mean, to be fair, the frequent viewers, the Patreons, the channel guys, you know, I feel like we're all on the same wavelength. But a lot of the time, you know, there are people in the live chat, or there are people that I talk to at work, or like I remember going out for dinner and drinks with a friend of mine about 6 months ago, and I very calmly explained, like I wasn't hammered and ranting or anything. The conversation got onto politics and, you know, geopolitics, as it does invariably when I'm out and I've had a couple of drinks. But
Right.
but I explained very calmly why I thought we are actually, you know, fundamentally, inescapably fucked. And she was like, "Do you actually believe that?" And I was like, "How can you not? Like, I've literally just explained. Like, what did I say that was inaccurate?" She's like, "Okay." Like, it was a real, you know, in her mind, I'm nuts. In my mind, I'm like, tell me, like, I'm like that fucking guy off the meme. Like, you know, this is how it is. Debate me.
Well, provide proof, dickhead. But the problem is, like, you sound conspiratorial just laying out nowadays. Like, I've been doing videos, and I'm going to do some videos coming up about Farage and his links to Russia and the questions he needs to ask about it. And I'm aware all the time that you sound conspiratorial. And as a woman, people don't trust you anyway. Like Marina, I've talked to this to Marina and Gemma about this, and we talk about how if you're a woman, you have to literally, like you're writing a fucking essay, reference it down to the wire, because you'll have some like bro going, "Oh, that's not true, is it?" It's like, it's fucking Google it, you dickhead. It's there. It's like, this is from credible journalism. But then you've got the misogynistic part and the loss of truth if you're a woman. If you're a guy, you're probably a bit more likely to be believed. But you almost sound like a conspiracy theorist. But this is the thing: the conspiracy theories are way off. Like they're way off the mark with what they're barking up completely the wrong tree. You know, no one's trying to bum 5G into you. Like that's all fine. What you've got to really look at is what's happening in plain sight. Is the things that no one looks at, and that's a real problem. It's all there. It's printed. But
somebody Mojo Sabian's just popped in the chat. He's like, "AIDS just bitter because his therapist shot himself."
Really?
No, we didn't. But it's a reference to, like, on the paper review this morning, I was talking about, like, because there's this big story at the moment about psychotherapists. Sorry, we're going like off on a tangent again. There's a story about psychotherapists who are having sex with their patients, and then they get struck off. And then because psychotherapy is unregulated, they just like advertise under a different name and then just carry on. And I made a joke this morning about, I can't remember, like it was something to do with like therapists and me killing myself or something. Oh yeah, that's right. Like, because if you're unregulated, then you just carry on going and the free market will like take care of it. And then gradually you lose all of your patients because you're, okay, anyway, doesn't matter.
But you mentioned your therapist shot himself.
I know, like a bad therapist, an unregulated therapist would continue to lose his patients and the free market would take hold because the therapist isn't therapizing correctly, so then the patients kill themselves. It's you know, at the beginning of this episode you were like, sometimes Abe takes it a bit far. This was one of those times.
Well, in the context, I think, of the broader joke, I probably understand it. But that's another thing that as a woman this week has made me just go, for fuck's sake. I mean, we're literally safe nowhere. You know, like go to the police, you're fucked. Like go to a therapist. You know, at your most vulnerable. they're going to try and fuck you as well. It's like, brilliant. You know, we're safe nowhere. This is why I think every woman should learn Krav Maga. So if they try and come for you, you can just fucking kill them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Or like, just like a flamethrower, just to,
No, you want to be close to them when you do it, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought I was going for a hugely like impersonal, like a guy walks near you and says like, try smiling, love. And then you just,
Yeah, like going home in an ambulance. Yeah, that's the level of badassery that women should aspire to. I think.
Yeah.
Being able to just like kneecap someone, Do
you think?
Yeah, I genuinely believe that. They'd think twice, wouldn't they?
Well, that's true. But if a guy says you should try smiling, love, and then you kneecap him. I mean, yeah, it is like. I mean, it is violent assault, Tan. It's
I'll just say that he threatened me.
But you're not a middle-aged white man out in political unrest, so you won't get jailed. So.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, like the vast proportion of women that are in prison are actually shoplifters.
Is that true?
True.
Apparently, there's a shoplifting epidemic on at the moment.
Which is amazing because, like, you barely ever get arrested for shoplifting now. Like, you can actually, there's actually a limit. It's like you can nick up to 200 quid. Way.
I wouldn't be like, if I worked in retail and I saw someone shoplifting, I'm not fucking doing anything. I'm like, you're not getting paid danger money.
I would just be like, yeah, do it.
Yeah. Nick some for me too.
There's that old adage, isn't there? Like, if you see someone stealing nappies or baby formula, you didn't see them stealing.
Yeah. Just leave them the fuck alone. You don't know what they're going through. Also, like, the reporting around this, like, epidemic thing is fucking ridiculous. Like, if you go into any of the right-wing tabloids, which obviously you should never do, but if you do, then you read the narrative, the rhetoric that's being spun is like there's some sort of national moral failure going on. Like, people today are just shitter. They're just worse people.
Or are they just fucking broke and one step away from starting up a fucking OnlyFans to pay the lecky bill? Like,
exactly. It's like things have got progressively harder. Rents have spiked. Mortgages have spiked. Energy bills have spiked. Food has spiked. Everything's gotten so much more expensive.
Whose fault is it? The fucking Tories.
No. You've got it all twisted, Tan. Apparently, it's young people today are just awful human beings.
Or it's Labour in the last 3 months. They've done all of this.
Yes, yeah, because we have, I mean, here we are talking about, dodgy therapists. Whoever the therapists are that are treating the Daily Express, amazing job, because they've wiped all of that trauma. All that trauma's just gone.
What trauma? I mean, didn't the Express, aren't they still shagging the ghost of Diana? Like...
Actually, no, they've moved on. Now there's less about Diana now. It's more about Farage, front page. Kemi, what Kemi thinks. Kemi's view on that, what Kemi's going to do. They're very pro-Kemi.
What Kemi did next.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really dark thing that I do not want to ever see, actually. Like, is the inner ramblings of hers or Jenrick's mind. I mean, can you imagine? Jesus Christ.
I still can't believe that it's those two that they've ended up with. It's like, I mean, I was in a good mood on election night as the results came in.
Me too. Well, you were pissed out of your face.
I was about to say that's the last time I got drunk, but 2 days after that I got pretty hammered, and then that was it. Then I was like, oh.
Have you been completely sober since?
I haven't touched a drop since.
Not a bit or anything.
No.
Why?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wild. Considering like all the old episodes of this, it's like you with a wine and me just fucking getting hammered.
Yeah, I mean, I very rarely drink. I mean, I only ever drink if I'm doing like a live stream or I'm going out, and then I tend to take mind you, when we went to the Asif, I should have drank more for the film.
Yeah.
I literally only had a couple of like bottled beers, but I rarely drink actually. Whereas you were more of you liked a couple of beers of an evening.
I was a big fan, a frequent subscriber of self-medicating. Because firstly, I loved having a beer and doing this and talking to people. But also, secondly, like over the weekend, you got young kids. You have to be I don't know, fun, but also still awake at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And, you know, the days are long and it's hard to manage them. And I just found like it was so much easier after about 3 or 4 in the afternoon if I just had a couple of beers. But then what you learn in due course, once you've come off them, is like you're actually robbing yourself of the awakeness and the good mood that you would have had the following morning. So it's like you're rattier and more irritable the next day.
Anxiety is a bad problem as well. Like, because you don't sleep properly if you drink. That's the problem. You
it's a killer.
Sleep.
Yeah.
So you're
and also like if you're in here like editing a podcast after, you know, like we'll wrap up in a minute, but if you then spend like an hour editing and like bookending titles and putting the music on and all that stuff, like it's fun. It's funner if you've got like an IPA or like craft ale and you're just in your cabin, getting into the spirit, and then you go on Politics Social a little bit rowdy and call Graham a C word or whatever.
About is like that thing you said about in that time was way too far. It was received well. My mum listens to this. I said, no, because I've met Graham's mum. She is lovely. Yeah. The first time I met her, she presented me with a roast dinner and like a big glass of wine, and I was like, we're gonna get on really well.
What a ledge.
Yeah, she's a Liverpudlian legend.
Do you think she would, you know, just to circle back to the first 5 minutes of this pod, do you think she's the sort of person that would break out of the group chat to send you a DM of the hilarious dark joke? Is she that cool?
I don't know, really. I mean...
Would she have laughed at your mum joke? That's the tester.
I honestly can't judge it. I reckon, possibly.
Yeah.
There's a possibility.
She does sound.
She's sound? I can't do Liverpudlian. No, I can't do accents. I'm terrible.
I can do some. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much to my guest this evening, Super Tansky. Guys, if you're not subscribed, please give me a little a cheeky subscribe and a like. And stick around. I put out the alternative paper reviews most mornings, not usually on a weekend because the kids are a bit crazy. And I do 2 podcasts a week, one midweek and then one Friday night, sometimes with a guest. It has been with a guest this evening. But yeah, thanks very much to all the Patreons, all the channel backers. I will be back probably Monday morning with that paper review. Until then, keep it Bimfluencer, keep it Booge, and I am out this motherfucker.